All right, guys. Next up, we got Cole Kirschsieper. He was on the mound in the 9th inning to close out the no-hitter. He got out of a first and second one-out jam by striking out the final 2 batters. So we'll open it up for questions for Cole.
Hey Cole, congrats on the weekend again. I guess what was the process throughout this weekend? Because I know you threw a little bit on Friday. It's pretty unusual to see, one guy 2 times in a weekend. So what was that process like in those conversations between you and Coach Allen and Coach Hartlib to kind of get you back on the field on Sunday?
Yeah, so on Friday, I was planning to come in on the back end of that game, but he was going to have me finish the game, but then he asked me if I was ready to go because he might need me Sunday. So me and Coach Allen just talked later after the game that I'd have to tell him how I felt in the morning, and I felt fine, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go at least 1 or 2 if you need me. And so he said on Saturday morning to be ready for Sunday and for our whole bullpen to be ready. So I was just making myself available for any game.
It almost feels like he was kind of like foreshadowing Sunday, I guess. But I guess when you got to Sunday and you were asked to come in that last inning, what was the feeling like for you? And how prepared were you? And just thinking about obviously the no hitter, but it also just being a really really close game.
Yeah. So to be honest, I wasn't really thinking about the no hitter at the time. It wasn't in my mind at all. I was just more focused on going out there and doing my job and getting outs, which that's what our pitching staff and Coach Allen talks to all of us pitchers about, just going out there and getting your job done, and that's getting hitters out. So, I mean, I felt prepared. I always feel prepared. It always starts for me the week of with bullpens and throwing programs. So then I feel more comfortable when going into the weekend or going into a series. I feel more comfortable with everything I've done previous to lead up to this weekend. So I felt good going in. And especially after Friday, I felt good as well. I felt like the momentum could carry over to Sunday, in which it did.
Yeah, and I know you had pitched against, or you had seen Purdue the weekend before, so you were able to kind of study them and everything. Did that help you in that final inning, or was it more of just like in the moment, like adrenaline type of thing?
That's a great question. It did on the Friday or the Sunday, Monday that we did see them last weekend. I did look at them, watched them, sat with Coach Allen, talked over the hitters, looked at their scouting report, and noticed that during the game they took a lot of off-speed pitches and were mostly a fastball hitting team. So going into it, I was going to throw more off-speed, but then once it got to Friday and I started just doing fastballs, that kind of worked for me. So then on Sunday, I just kept the same thing. It just went majority of my pitches were fastballs. So I felt like that, even though seeing them take a lot of off-speed pitches and go after the fastballs, I just felt like those 2 days, Friday and Sunday, my fastball was on for me. So I just used that to work around outs and get people out.
Awesome. Thanks, Cole.
Thank you.
Hi. Walking up to the mound for that last inning, or throughout the entirety of it, how many times do you tell yourself like not to mess it up? Like how many times are you just like going through your head like, okay, I just have one thing to get through, let's do it?
So like I said earlier, I don't think that the no-hitter wasn't really on my mind at the time. Like Coach Allen said before, we have to go out there no matter what the situation is, even if we're down a certain amount of runs or we're up a certain amount of runs, you have to go out there and get outs, and that's what's going to win us games or lose us games depending on the score. So I kind of wasn't really nervous or thinking about it at all, except I'd say the last batter, that's when it kind of started to get in my head a little bit of like, all right, I can't mess it up here. But for when I was walking up there, majority of it was just go out there. It's a regular game. What the score is 1-0, act like it's 0-0 and just go out there and throw strikes and have my defense help me behind me.
And with talking about this bullpen and, the slow start, the struggles, all of the ups and downs, I've just been curious about like what your coaches talk to you about and like how those discussions go, especially after some not so great games, and how nice it was to feel like there was some good to talk about finally.
Right. So the weeks we have struggled, we've had meetings, our whole staff have had meetings with Coach Hartlib, and majority of them were with Coach Allen. And we just talk about, it's like we're against ourselves. So like the hitters, they're doing their thing. They're having an unreal season so far. And it's the pitchers that haven't been on their best game or best performance out there. But he said it's just mentality. You have to, like, we have some guys on the team that he said that don't have the same mentality, and we're all not going for the same goal. But us as players know that we all have the same goal in mind, and we're all trying to achieve that. He just mostly talks to us about like, keep going. This is like, you have to work through adversity to get to the good side of stuff. And I felt like those weeks leading up to it this weekend, that the adversity that we've had faced just made us even better for this weekend, and it showed today. And it shows what our potential is as a pitching staff and a whole entire team together.
And what's that one collective goal that you guys all have?
Well, to win the national championship.
Nice. Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else for Cole? All right. Thank you, Cole.
Thank you, everyone.